and welcome to another episode of Small Bites. My name is Dr. Karen McDowell, and I am here today to bring you the fourth installment in our Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator series. Now, if you've been following the work we've been doing, you have seen in the last 3 weeks videos and our Small Bites live chats on Wednesdays focused each on one of the 4 pairs of letters that make up the Myers-Briggs dichotomies. Today, we're going to talk about the J and the P, the judger and perceiver way of interacting with the world and the way of setting up the world around you. Here at The Gracious Mind, we do Small Bites every single Wednesday live on Instagram, which means when you catch our videos on YouTube, you can then follow up on that Wednesday and talk about the same topic with us live so we can hear your questions, your comments, anything you might have to say about the topic this week. And if you miss it, you can find all of our past Small Bites live on our Instagram page as well. In case you didn't notice, I'm here rocking my awesome Gracious Mind t-shirt, which you can find on our website, thegraciousmind.com. And every purchase you make from our shop goes to help provide therapy to people who need it. So please check out our gift shop, find us online, follow, share, like, subscribe, all of the things to support our work. Okay, let's jump into the topic. We're at the 4th dichotomy, the 4th pair of letters in the Myers-Briggs. We've talked about all the other ones. This time we're going to be talking about how someone constructs their world externally, how they present their way of organizing the world externally around them. So we have 2 letters, and just like with all of the other pairs, everyone can do both and everyone can move on this spectrum of these letters. But most people have a preference or a tendency towards one. Now again, the Myers-Briggs is a strength-only based test, so it's not looking for any kind of weaknesses or flaws. Everything we talk about in a positive strength-based model. Also, you don't have to actually take the test. You can listen to videos like this and do your own research and figure out what your Myers-Briggs type is without having to go through the test process. That's because this test is designed for you to be the expert on yourself. You're the one that talks about and decides how you experience the world. So let's start with the J side of the spectrum. On the J side of the spectrum, which is known as judger, judging, it can be easy to think, oh, that must mean they're judgmental. That's not right. That's not what it means. Similarly, on the P side, perceiver, it doesn't mean that those people are more perceptive. It's just the words that we use in the Myers-Briggs. So I'm going to explain to you what those mean. On the J side, judgers. Judgers are going to be people who like to construct their world in really organized ways. Judgers are going to tend to plan things. They're going to have itineraries. They're going to have structures. They're going to know what's coming. They're going to plan things out so that they know what is going to be happening and they know what they can do about it. Perceivers, on the other hand, may not want to be organized. They may want to be more spontaneous or more kind of fly by night and kind of do whatever they want. Now, both judgers and perceivers are making decisions, but how they set up those decisions and show those decisions can look different. So for example, a judger is going to want the decision made. They're going to make the decision and they're going to say it. And sometimes they'll miss details because they're being pulled. They feel like they want to have that decision made or they want to have that structure put in place. Perceivers are going to be deciding things also, but they may kind of hold that deciding process inside and not really externalize it. So they may be viewed as indecisive or wishy-washy or unpredictable, when in reality, they're just doing that process kind of internally. On the J side, a judger is going to fill out forms immediately, and they're going to reserve their spot immediately, and they're going to buy that ticket immediately because they don't want to miss that opportunity. Perceivers are going to wait to buy the ticket. They're going to wait to fill out the form because other opportunities might come along or there's plenty of time to do that later. That doesn't seem as critical. In fact, some of the judger's comfort behaviors like itineraries and structures and predictability are actually stressors for perceivers. Those things can be perceived as uncomfortable or demanding. I always think it's interesting to think about the topic of closure as it relates to judgers and perceivers. For judgers, closure is going to be something that is, 1, really important, and 2, will likely need to be very tangible. So if there is a relationship that's coming to an end, or there's maybe you're leaving a job, or there's some kind of transition happening, judges are going to tend to want to have it like wrapped up in a nice, neat little bow, and it's handled and everybody knows everything. Perceivers, on the other hand, may just kind of let things lie and let relationships kind of fade or let things kind of move along rather than trying to get that kind of closure. So of course that can be pretty difficult if you're in a relationship or you're working with somebody who's coming from the other side than you come from. So as always, I'm going to address the question of, can J's and P's effectively be in relationships together? I don't know. Yeah, probably. It's much less to do with what kind of personality you have and much more to do with how well you understand yourself and how well you understand other people. So let's think what it takes to be in a relationship, say a romantic relationship. And you think about how you have to make plans together, and you think about how you have to organize things and how you have to approach certain situations. Now, if you have two J's, then you might end up feeling kind of inflexible. You might find yourselves in ruts. You might find yourselves like unwilling to really be spontaneous or take things as they come. And if you have two P's, well, then you might not ever get anything done. You might just constantly be flailing around, which could be fun, but it doesn't get you very far in terms of goals or life path. If you have a J and P together, it could be that those two balance each other out really nicely, that the J helps kind of keep things on track and steady, and the P person kind of helps things stay interesting, or that could go really poorly where those could clash, and the J could be demanding more structure and more rigidity, and the P could be resisting that and feeling really uncomfortable with that. So again, these things can work really well together, or they can be really harsh against each other, depending on how you use them in your communication. So those are my thoughts on the J and the P. Again, the Myers-Briggs is enormous in terms of the different ways you can interpret it and the different ways you can understand it. It's highly, highly researched, and there's a lot of really cool information out there about it. Two of the books that I like best are Please Understand Me Too by Kiersey, which has a lot of really cool information in it. And then the other book is Do What You Are, which talks about vocation. It talks about jobs and careers based on the Myers-Briggs preferences. So those are my two favorite books about that, but the internet has so much information, so definitely dig more into that. Again, we'll be on Instagram Live on Wednesday at 12 Central to talk about this and to hear your feedback, hear your thoughts, questions, ideas. We will also have a new Small Bites next week with Monique Champagne, and we've got lots of other stuff going on at The Gracious Mind, and you can find all of that stuff on our website, on all of our social media platforms, or you can just email us at info@thegraciousmind.com. Have an excellent week. We'll see you next time.